All right, welcome back. Episode 10, part 2. Part deux. I am John Robert Quinn, 20 years in business. I've got Bradley and Meyer, 40 years in real estate. So what are we talking about? We're doing a recap of what we talked about in the first 9 episodes.
Yep.
Let's get into. We were just talking about agents. Let's talk about renters. What are some things that renters can do to better prepare themselves, I guess, to go and rent a property and then flip that around? What are some things that a property manager can do to better find better renters?
First advice for renters, been a renter. Actually, I'm renting right now. Is get all your paperwork in order. Complete the application. Don't leave any blank spots. One of the reasons is having had to go through literally hundreds of applications on properties. In several different states, I've had to do this because it's been just a hot market and there are not a lot of rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
And nationally, we're back into that kind of scenario again. Don't leave anything blank. Don't lie. Tell the truth. And be upfront.
Mm-hmm.
And don't hide anything from the landlord. They're going to find out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That'll put you, in my opinion, and for the people that I've trained, head and shoulders above everybody else. The other thing is, don't be one of those people that's trying to maintain a standard of living that you can't anymore. If you can't afford the $4,000 a month high-rise apartment that you used to afford a year and a half ago, and now you can't for whatever economic reason, don't try to stay there. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're certainly not doing the landlord any favors, but as a tenant, be straight up. Who cares about the landlord? You're a renter. You got to take care of yourself.
You're absolutely right.
So,
And
if you
sometimes
can't
maybe
swing
pride
that,
gets in the way.
Yeah, well, if you can't swing that, get into something else because you're a renter. It's a temporary situation.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Change it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and if renting really bothers you, there are some people out there. Go to cashcowsystems.org. We can show you, working with me, how you can buy a 5-plex, live in one of them, let the other 4 people pay the mortgage. You got a free place to live.
No,
So you
you're
just
absolutely
went from a renter to an owner of a multifamily unit, and because it's over 40 units, it's not a residential loan. You've done loans and mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commercial loan based on the money the property generates.
So,
I mean, that's what I'd give for renters. Take your blinders off, change your mindset about who you are and what you're doing, and expand your world, improve your life.
mm-hmm.
If you're a property owner, you're managing your own properties, have a written rental criteria. How much do they have to make a month? What's their credit got to be like? And you don't got to nail it down to you got to have a 600 or better FICO score because God only knows how to figure out FICO.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that produce the scores I met once, and he couldn't tell me how it's done. It's in a big computer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you got to have good credit, fair credit, make 3 times the rent in income, and that could be a combined income, husband and wife, whatever. And that 2.5 thing, I've seen people do that, and I've seen people do the 2 times, and
Do you think
my
that,
experience, that leads to problems down the road because you're getting people into something that they really can't afford.
do you think that anybody can own property or should own property? Or do you think there's people that just should just be renters?
I think that's an individual decision.
Mm-hmm.
I've met people that have zero desire to own properties.
Mm-hmm. Wealthy people or just people?
I've met wealthy people. I've met poor people. There were 2 different stories I heard growing up as kids
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen these stories parlayed out in different movies and books and shows, and I'll give you the real short version. First version is Every idiot knows when you get up $2 million, you go buy a basic Japanese economy car, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a 25-year roof. You put $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 in the system at 3 to 5%, and that's your base. You take another $500,000, you do hard money loans at 8 to 10 to 12%, and that puts you in a position to screw you. Somebody wants you to do something, you don't want to do it, screw you. Boss pisses you off, screw you. You got nothing to worry about. That's the common one.
Okay.
The other one that I heard and was taught was you get up $2 million, you go invest in a nice high-end apartment complex, or you go invest in a hotel. You move in one unit. You don't move in a penthouse. You move into something nice, comfortable. You never have another bill in your life. Toilet breaks, not your problem. Roof leaks, not your problem. You're living in an asset that pays you money, and you've eliminated. For me, I like the idea of a hotel with a restaurant, bar, a leased out day spa, exercise area, and a swimming pool. I virtually have eliminated all my living expenses.
And a Bentley with 3 blondes. 2 blondes and a redhead.
2 redheads and a brunette. Get it right, Johnny. Get it right. Nothing against you blondes. It's just every once in a while, life's different. You need to change. But that way you're living in an asset that pays you money.
Okay, fair enough.
You buy a 4-plex or an 8-plex or 5-plex.
Okay, what about
And you
somebody
gotta
who's
live in
bringing in $5,000 a month? Should they buy a house or should they rent?
Depends on where they're living and what houses cost. There's a lot of advantages to buying a house, but why not buy a duplex or a 3-plex? And instead of having a house that doesn't pay you anything, and even when you pay it off, you still have taxes, insurance, maintenance, upkeep, why not have something nice, like a nice triplex, where 2 other people are paying for everything it costs, and you throw it into an LLC investment retirement thing, and you're pretty much set for life. And when you get tired of it, you refi it, pull some money out if you want to be a homeowner and go live somewhere with a home. Maybe one of those developments where everything's handled and you just come and go as you please. You can do that, and you still have something paying you monthly all the time.
Should somebody buy a home to live in before they buy a rental property or a property that they're going to rent out? Meaning, should they buy a home as a house?
For their first investment,
Correct.
I recommend people buy at least a duplex to get started.
Before they buy something to live in.
Yep.
And that's what I believe in, too. Again, another reason why you and I see eye to eye.
Yeah. I mean, you buy a house. I don't see a house as an asset. I see a house as a liability.
It is a liability.
Even if you pay the mortgage off, it's like I just said, you still got taxes, insurance, maintenance, upkeep. Something breaks, it's on you, and you've got no way to write that off. If you got a duplex, and there's nice duplexes out there, folks. I don't care what part of the country you live in. There are nice duplexes that they'll pay 70 to 80% of your mortgage. And if you don't like the person that lives next door, hey, get rid of them, get somebody else. Frankly, I think if you do it to somebody in a different age group than what you're in, if you're older, do somebody younger, but stay within 10 to 15 years of your age. You're going to have something in common, and they're going to be an asset to help you out. If you're young and you do something to somebody who's older, they're not going to be as hard on your property. They're going to be a little more respectful. They're going to be more centered and focused and not want to move around as much. So they're going to be a longer-term tenant.
Fair enough.
And there are going to be things that they can help you with.